Hello and welcome to the Neon Reactor YouTube channel. Today we're going to cover a common object manipulation, which is a bevel cube, and using the bevel function in general. It's pretty straightforward. I want to keep this simple, and this is a beginner tutorial, so we're going to get started right away. So the first thing I'm going to do is hide the Neon Reactor logo, the H, and then I'm going to middle mouse button and rotate, and we'll get right into it here. I'm going to create 3 different cubes so I can show you the difference between a manual bevel cube, a modifier bevel, and then an inverted bevel. So you can see the difference between all 3 of them, and personally why I like the modifier best. So first thing we're going to do is create a cube from the primitives menu. So Shift A, Mesh, and Cube. And then we'll create a cube here in the middle. I want to have 3 different cubes. So what I'm going to do is Shift D to duplicate, and then hit X so we can lock into the X axis. And bring this over. And we're going to just repeat that again. X, and do another one here. Shift D. And on the X, and we have 3 cubes. So now we have 3 cubes, and you can see them all right here, and you can see a side-by-side comparison. So the first one we're going to do is going to be a manual bevel. So I'm going to do the /, and what that will do is focus on just the object we want to focus on, and it will hide the rest of the objects, which is really nice when you're trying to focus on something. So I'm going to tab into edit mode here. Everything's selected, but if everything wasn't selected, I would hit A to select all. I'm in the edge mode right here. As you can see, there's 3 different modes. There's vertice, edge, and face. We're in edge mode. I don't think for this case it matters because we're selecting all. Now we're going to hit Control B to bevel. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sort of drag to the right. And what that's going to do is determine the size of the bevel. So for this one, you can either have something smaller. So if you want to make like a die, like you would use for a game, probably something smaller would be good. But we're going to do more like we're going to do a bigger bevel just to show the detail a little better and make it a little more rounded. You could do something like this would be good for like maybe like a sci-fi box, or something where you need rounded edges. So I'm going to make this about this big. And then when you want to add in the bevel edges, that's where the magic happens. You start scrolling the scroll wheel, the middle mouse scroll wheel on your mouse, and every time you scroll up, it adds an edge. I'm going to do 2 for this demo here. You can do as many as you want to refine the edge to make it really smooth, but we don't need to do that. I think 2 is probably good enough because we're going to use the smooth shading to make it smoothed out. So once you're done here, you can also go back left to reduce the size. So as long as you didn't hit the left mouse button, which locks it in, and you can no longer modify it unless you undo and start over again. So you could do it like that. So left, right, sort of like, so you can fine tune it manually. So I'm going to go like that. That looks about right. And then I'm going to left click. Bam, done. Okay, then we're going to tab out into object mode, and you have your bevel cube. To smooth it out, we're going to right click and do a shade smooth, and there you go. You got our first beveled cube. So you can always, like I said, you can make the bevel area bigger to get a more rounded edge, or you can make it smaller to have a more refined edge. It just depends on what you're going for. I'm going to hit forward, hit the /, key again, and that will unhide the other 2. And we're going to go to the second one, which is going to be the modifier. So I'm going to hit the / again, and we're going to go to our second cube. And this time we're going to do a modifier. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add a modifier, and we're going to type in bevel. It shows up right here because I've done it before, but you can always type in any modifier if you know the name in order to find it. So this one's the bevel, so I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so there you go. Bam, it dropped a bevel modifier down in the modifiers window down here, and I have an add-on for this. I'm not going to go over that right now, but there's an add-on that adds all these buttons. But for now, you know, just doing that add modifier gets you this bevel modifier window here. And there's two things. We're going to focus on the amount of the segments. So the amount allows you to, like we did manually, it increases the bevel size. So you want to make it a very rounded corner, or you want more of a sharp rounded corner. It just depends, you know. So this is basically the same thing. And you can also, instead of using arrows, you can drag it. So it'll be just like using the manual modifier, or the manual bevel. So I'm going to do like, make it about like this big to sort of simulate the other manual bevel. And then the segments, you can just either drag or click the arrow. So I think we had 2 before, so I'm going to leave it at 2, or well, 3 actually. So this is 3 segments here. So it starts off with 1, and we're going to increase it by 2. So that's actually 3 segments, which is like 2 edges, but there's 3 faces. So once you're done with that and you like that, the good thing about the modifier is you don't have to tab into edit mode. So you could do it right from the object mode, which is great. And then you can also just right click and shade smooth. And bam, you got yourself a beveled cube. And it was pretty straightforward. I mean, you had to do the extra step of, you know, creating the modifier, but as you go through your Blender journey, you're going to be using modifiers a lot because they're very useful, and you can stack them and make some pretty interesting objects with it, with all the modifiers. Okay, so I'm going to hit the / button again, and if we do a comparison between these two here, you can see pretty much the same thing. I mean, pretty much the same. And the good thing about this is that it's non-destructive, and versus destructive. And what that means is that, you know, as soon as you hit the left mouse button, you're done. You're locked in, and you can't really modify it without manually modifying the object. As where the modifier, you can tweak it still. So I can go in and I can add more. You know, I can add less. So you can modify this with, you know, smooth shade on, and so you can see it smooth as you modify it, which is really cool. So this is the power of the modifiers versus a manual edit. So for the third one, we're going to do something a little bit different here. So I'm going to / and we're going to go ahead and do a manual. You could do this in modifier mode too, but I'm doing manual. Hit Control B. So it does regular bevel like we did before. But now if you hit the P button, so it's P, it locks in the size. So now we've locked in the size of the bevel. But what we've been now allowed to do is invert the bevel. So now we can go inward instead of just outward, and it, you know, so you can go inward. So we're going to do that, maybe like right around here. And then use the scroll wheel to sort of refine the curve. I want to make this one a little more refined here, so I'm going to do that. As you can see, the corners are pretty complex on this one. So I'm going to left click the button there. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, the corners are very complex on this object. Might have problems with that, so let's go ahead and tab out into object mode. And I'm going to shade smooth this one. So as you can see, it turned out pretty good. You might have to do some things. It's sort of, you can see some issues here with the edges. So that might take some further modeling manipulation, but this is a basic video, so I'm just showing you the functionality of the bevel function. So just to show you, you can invert a cube edges like this by using the Control B and then the P. So I'm going to go back again with the / and here you go. So here's our 3 different cubes, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and please hit the like button, thumbs up, so we can start getting some likes on this video and get started. Thank you so much. Have a great day.